Going live.
Oh shit, my fault. Damn. I love you. I just know you know I'm done.
Okay, I'll call you right back. Hello. Hey everybody, this is Drop the Mic Live Mic. I'm Shannon Ian and it's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm trying to get things in order for on YouTube and on Instagram, so excuse me for moving the camera the way that I'm moving it. Okay. Guys, share this live with 5 people. At least 2 will join. There's a power in numbers. Okay. This is Drop the Mic Live Mic, and we are just getting started. Let's get it. And let's go. Let's get it and let's go. For all of my people that has subscribed to my YouTube page, I want you guys to go to my YouTube page tonight as well. If you can't get on Instagram, go to my YouTube page tonight. I am Shannon_E on YouTube. Okay, or click the link in my bio. It could direct you right there. I just want to let you know that once tonight. So as I share my live with people as they come on to join, I'm going to say that the conversation for tonight is going to be perception and perspective. All right. The outlook on perception, the outlook on perspectives. Are they the same? Are they different? Are they one and one? You know, what is it? How do they relate to our everyday life and things of that nature? All right. So I'm just going to type it in. The topic of conversation. So as people come on, they can just basically see like what's tonight conversation. Like they don't have to keep asking like what we talking about. Like they can just see perspectives and perspective. Okay, and I'm gonna pin it. I see that when you on YouTube, you can just see every freaking thing. Like it does not stop. You are live streaming, but it's cool. It's cool. This is the raw me. For all my new followers, I like to sometimes basically like reintroduce Drop the Mic Live Mic and let you guys know what it is about, what it entails, things of that nature. Okay, so basically Drop the Mic Live Mic is a live mic podcast that I am doing. That discusses every single topic that is basically swept underneath the rug. Topics that we do not discuss, hello, how are you tonight, King? Topics that we choose not to discuss, topics that we choose to discuss, but we're discussing with the wrong people, topics that are very much solution needed. However, we don't know how to go about getting a solution and things of that nature. Okay. Finding the right people to express ourselves with, communicate, socialize, things of that nature. So this is a safe platform for people, places, and things who are interested in undergoing those types of conversations, and not that entails each and everybody in the world. Okay. So that is what Drop the Mic Live Mic is about. Hey, CG. What's going on? Okay, so tonight's topic of conversation is perception and perspectives. All right, let me know if you guys can hear me as you come on. Let me know if you can hear me, because sometimes the Wi-Fi interferes and things of that nature. I don't know if it's me or other people or Instagram, but it's like they've been having like this funny little filter going on, and I don't really know how to change it. Okay, but anyway, I woke up this AM feeling blessed. I got my earrings on that say you got this. Okay, so I am all affirmed in that sort of realm right now. So I woke up feeling blessed. I woke up thinking about my life. I woke up thinking about things that matter. I woke up thinking about things that doesn't matter. I noticed within thinking of things that matter and things that doesn't matter, like people, places, and things, thinking, overthinking, having anxiety, just like just having a seemingly of a false narrative of what life is, right? But I wouldn't even call it a false narrative, because at the end of the day, it's their narrative, okay? It's their journey, it's their narrative, is what they're feeling, and things of that nature, okay? So that's what brought me into the realm of things of perception and perspective, right? So we just going to get right into it. I know it's Sunday, and I know it's really cold in New York City. I don't know about everybody else and where you guys are from, but in New York City is brick city. You know, we just skip past the fall and we going straight into the winter. And I know people are like, I'm asleep at this hour, girl. I don't know what's going on. But anytime I think of something and I have a message and I need to get it off my brain, I think it's very imperative. I think it's very important to really and send it out to the world, to help others, you know what I'm saying, as well as help myself. I always say that socializing and communicating is very therapeutic, you know, whether people believe it or not, especially for the people who feel like they don't want to actually go to a therapist. So just communicating, just socializing, just interacting, just, you know, mind stimulation is all very, very, very therapeutic, and it's very healthy in aiding your existence each and every day. Okay, so perception. What is perception? What is perception? The ability to see, hear, or become aware of something through the senses. Okay, your understanding of a giving set person or object. All right, the meaning you assign to your given stimulus. Okay, so perception is basically like you're going based off of what you're seeing. Okay, you're going based off of your daily routine, your daily life, what's going on around you, the environment, and you are creating a narrative based off of that, the stimuli, the hearing, the seeing, the examples, the people behaviors, the acting. Like you're going for that, and you're creating a perception, and then you're pushing it out to the world. Okay, you're giving an opinion based off of other people's either opinion, facts, behaviors, or likes, dislikes, etc., etc. Okay, that's what perception is. That's what perception is. So now I start thinking like, all right, well, if that's perception, then what is perspective, right? Because we all have a perspective of things, and we all see things a certain way, and you know, just to be clear, okay, perspective is a point of view. All right. Hey, hot boy, what's going on? Our perspective is a point of view. So just to be clear, like what is the difference in perception and perspective? Okay. Because perception is basically what we're seeing. We're creating a narrative off of what we're seeing, what we're hearing, and things of that nature. This is what's going on, right? Hello, I just want you to know I'm staring at you and to see what's that one. Okay, all right. Well, as long as you're listening, I'm trying to engage in both the YouTube and the Instagram, y'all. So I'm reading comments from my YouTube page as well. Yeah. So that's a perception. Perception is basically based off of what we're seeing, what we're hearing, things of that nature. What's going on, Majestic? How are you, King? You know, as opposed to perspective, which is a point of view, you know what I'm saying, based off of the attitude toward or way of regarding something, you know what I mean? Like it sounds like it's one in one. Okay, because when I think of perception, even though it's stimuli based, meaning even though we see certain things and we can kind of come up with a narrative due to what we see and due to what we're surrounded by, due to whatever it may be, it doesn't mean that it's still not a false narrative. It doesn't mean that it's not still just your opinion. Okay, now granted, in the scheme of things, when you see something, then you know more than likely it's there. But how many times have we seen something and have not seen something? Okay, that's the real thing as well. Right? So perception is one and one. Okay, I have some questions tonight. Even if I'm just putting it out there, I'm just asking questions and I'm just answering the questions. Okay. If you feel like you have to answer these questions, feel free to join or feel free to answer these questions. You understand what I'm saying? This is the open conversation, the open platform for nothing but gems he is saying. Okay. And we are getting people's perspectives, perceptions of what it is. Please feel free to share your experiences in nature, because the teaching is through experience. Okay. What does perception do to your psyche? All right. That is most important than any other thing that's going to happen on here tonight. All right. I'm big on mental health. I'm big on the psyche. I'm big on what is going on in the brain. Why are you thinking that way? What happened to make you think that way? What triggered something? So on and so forth, etc., etc. Now, most people, they shy away from that, and because your brain is a powerful thing, right? So if someone gets in your brain and they get to know you really well on that level where they can see what's going on with you through your psyche, then that's a vulnerable state. That's another conversation. So a lot of people put up this wall and this blockage and they make excuses for their thought process, right? When really, in reality, there really is not an excuse for people's thought process. They just want you to feel like it is, okay? Now, what does perception do to your psyche? Okay, I'm going to tell you really quick. It allows us to take the sensory information in and make it into something meaningful. Okay? That's all it does. So the things that's happening around us is allowing us to take it in, and it's allowing us to make something meaningful of it. It's allowing us to make sense of what's going on, basically. That's what it does to our psyche. It helps us make sense, right? Is it the driving force? It is the driving force behind our reaction. So the language of it's not what you do, it's how you do it is based off of that. Okay. It is helping us to make sense of what we're seeing, people, places, and things, and environment, what's going on around us, right? That's what it does to our psyche. That's what perception does to our psyche. However, it is also the driving force behind our reaction. So it is the driving force behind our behaviors. Okay. So this narrative that we are creating based off of this stimuli is allowing us to behave and react in a certain way. And to be quite honest with you, and to be quite frank, that's the part that it gets a little sketchy at. Okay. That's where it gets a little sketchy. Because if we are in an environment that is hurtful, if we are in an environment where things are not going too great, it's looking like it's never going to show up for us, like we're never going to see the light of day and things of that nature, we begin to create a narrative of hurt, of guilt, of this, of that, of depression, things of that nature. And we begin to act on that. The act might not, this may not match the crime. Like the act may not be as necessary to how can I say it? The act may not be necessary. And it may not match exactly what the stimuli is that was created in your head. Remember, this is going based off of your experiences. Okay? It's just your experiences. It doesn't mean that it's accurate. It does not mean that it's accurate. A lot of people think, oh yeah, well, it's my experience, so it is accurate. It's what I say because I'm the one going through it and I'm the one experiencing it. But that does not mean that that's accurate. That doesn't mean that's accurate. That's just the way you feel. Okay? That's just the way you feel. And I agree. There is no feeling that's wrong, but that does not mean that your feeling is accurate. It's accurate for you, but it's not accurate. Okay, it may not even be accurate for you, to be honest with you. You may just feel like that in that moment because what you see and what's going on in that moment, you're in your feelings. But that doesn't mean that it's accurate. It doesn't always have to be factual. It doesn't always have to be what's going on. How many times have we had conversations with people and we feeling like, well, they did this and I'm mad at them. I know I'm big on that. Like, I be like, yeah, because no, they ain't care and they ain't this and they ain't that. And they don't be that at all. You understand what I'm saying? But if you don't know the full totality of what is going on in your situation, then you're going to take that little piece and you're going to rock with that and you're going to roll with that. Like, so you're not going to see it for the whole thing. Okay? Just to be clear, just because it's your feelings do not mean that it's accurate. All right. And a lot of the times, based off of these perceptions, we act, and we act out, and we lose out. Okay. Because we don't understand a generalization of what is going on and what we should be doing and how we should be handling certain things that come our way. Okay. Why is perception important? It allows us to act within our environment. Okay. It allows us to act within our environment. Perception helps us to understand human behavior, how everyone sees the world and approaches problems differently. It allows us to act within our environment. That's what perception does. It allows us to move. It allows us to move around in our environment. It allows us to be. It allows us to see things. It allows us to react the way we want to react. It allows us to, feel something. It allows us to just have a thought. Okay, like, we matter. Like one of those. That's what perception does. It allows us to understand human behaviors. Okay, back to the behavior thing. It allows us to understand human behaviors, perception. But then what if it doesn't allow us to understand human behaviors? That's where the miscommunication comes in. That's where the issues come in. And that's where the problems come in. Like I said before, there's 3 sides to every story. Okay, so when things are happening, you have your perception of it. Another person has their perception of it. But what is the actual view of it? What's the actual view of what's going on? The behaviors keep people stagnant. The behaviors keep people upset. The behaviors keep people with loss. The behaviors can create bitterness. The behaviors can create, loss of opportunity. Things that could have been fixed or not. I could go on, but I'm gonna need some time to think just a little bit more. But I could definitely go on, But my point is just saying all of this is that behaviors, due to perception, due to a narrative that is created, is absurd if you don't use it in the right way. And I know y'all probably on here thinking like, well, damn, why is it that she, she's talking about like bad experiences or whatever case may be. The reason why I'm talking about mainly bad experiences is because the only time that perception becomes an issue is when it's in a negative light. And so many bad experiences have happened and been creative due to perception. But obviously the perception was used in a negative light, in a dark place. Okay. Is it easier to use perception when it's in a dark place? Is it easier to use perception when you have no hope? Is it easier to have an opinion or to try to figure things out when in a perceptive kind of way, when things is just not flowing and you're trying to make sense of stuff? I think it is. I think that's when we see it the most. I think that when there's a good avenue and there's a good space and things are going great, I think that a lot of people, they will dig more into facts. might not even just try to figure it out at all. Okay, but they will dig more into the facts, and they will go into, and things of that nature, like all of those things. How everyone, okay. So the perception of how everyone sees the world and approaches life problems differently. With perception, it is basically like how everyone sees the world, which is differently, right? So we see in the world differently. We're acting out and we're acting on what we see. We're acting on the world, being different. Like we're doing different things with different people, and we are differently. But for some strange and odd reason, there's like a multitude of repeat behaviors and of pessimistic thinking based off of perception. Okay, I was looking on Instagram today, and it was just like, be careful of this and be careful of that, and it had a lot to do with women, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not here to even like do the whole woman man thing or whatever the case is, but it had a lot to do with women. And in my head, I was just like, wow, like, this is a perception of women in this light. Whatever they were talking about, it was like it was a perception of women in that light, because it was like, I am a woman and I'm like nothing like that. Like whatever they was talking about, I was just like, that's not me. That's never been me. That, it's crazy. And maybe I'm like 1 out of 100,000 trillion million or whatever the case may be. But it's just like, it's just this perception. But I refuse to believe that it was based off of so many experiences this one person seen or went through with several women. I believe that it happened once, you know what I'm saying? Maybe twice they put themselves in the same predicament again, you know what I'm saying? And then it just went crazy. So that was the thought process was just wild. Like it just added on like 100 more, you know what I'm saying? So now it's a whole hate train, but it was just the perception. But then what you're doing is you're putting out a stigma on thousands and thousands and thousands of women due to your perception and your 2 experiences, or maybe your even 1 experience. And that's just one experience. That's just one example of what I'm talking about. You understand what I'm saying? This happens every day. Every single day this happens with individuals. What affects our perception of reality? We believe what we perceive to be accurate. And we create our own realities, and it doesn't mean it's accurate. It doesn't mean it's factual. That's just what I was talking about. We believe what we perceive to be accurate. Why do we believe what we perceive to be accurate? I want to say that we believe what we perceive to be accurate because we believe in ourselves. But that would be like, for me, like a really tall order, because I don't believe that half of the people that believe in themselves as much. I don't believe that they're making a decision, a choice, and believe in something. I don't think that they, I just don't believe that they are that confident that this is why that they're making these choices. I believe that it's just easier to be pessimistic as opposed to optimistic. I believe that it is easier to say like, yeah, I know this is what it is, something bad, basically. A lot of people don't want to look stupid. A lot of people don't want to get hurt. So a lot of people feel like, let me just look at the glass half full, because then I can fill it up. As opposed to me already got it filled up and now I got to empty the shit out. Like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I feel like it is. I don't feel like it's the confidence. But the problem with that is that you're basically like living, breathing, and making concrete decisions based off of minute energy. Minute energy. But not, that is low vibration. I don't know if anyone is aware exactly of what low vibration is, but any type of pessimistic thoughts, any type of halfway, half action, half full, half as, half balance, half is low vibration, low energy, low vibration. You ain't even your all. And guess what? Your all ain't giving you. That's just the way the world works. But we don't think like that. We think that we can have it all, get it all, and give a little bit. But I'm here to tell you that that is low vibration. When you base your, when you're basing, when you're making concrete decisions, whether it be opinions, whether it be, you know, perspectives, whether it be advice, whether it be suggestions and things like that, and you're not coming from a full cup, a full place, you're hindering. You're hindering, and you are giving off the wrong message. And you're hurting, and you are stagnating generations to come, and you are imbalancing the balance. And this is where all these bad relationships come from. This is where all these unfruitful relationships come in. And I'm not talking about like only girlfriend and boyfriend. Like I'm talking about situations. I'm talking about, you know, friendships. I'm talking about any type of relation. Okay. That's where all of that comes in. I can't change the world, and I can't change generations. I mean, I can change generations, but I can't change the world in one scoop. But my reason for having these conversations is for you guys to understand how real it is with the energy that we put out. Okay. In order to change scenarios, it's kind of like we walking backwards. Like we want things to change so much, and we want things to be the way we want it to be. However, it's definitely like we are setting ourselves up for failure all day long. But we don't see that because we don't effectively try to you know, intentionally think of these things. Like we don't like really put that work in to think of these things. But if you can do it with a little course of perception and perspective, then that's just one thing that you can do, like to intentionally, you know, start the mojo of change, basically. I don't know. I be knowing what I'm talking about, but you know, it's a lot. I know it's a lot. What affects our perception of reality? Okay, so I got what affects our perception of reality, right? And when I say effect, I mean good and bad. That's what I was just talking about, the life balance, right? And the imbalances and things of that nature. And how we can possibly, you know, get on balance, get some things in order, stuff like that, you know. Perspective. Now let's go to perspective. Okay, because perspectives is just like very simple. So I feel like perception and perspective is like kind of like the same thing, but they got two different definitions in the dictionary or whatever. So we're gonna leave it like that. Okay. Perspective is a point of view. It's a point of view. It's a viewpoint. It's a point of view. It's a view. Okay. It's the point of the view. That is a perspective. Okay. How someone sees the world is the definition in the dictionary. What is a perspective? Is it possible that from our perceptions we can is it possible that from our perception we can come up with a perspective that helps us instead of hinder us? So because the perception of my environment is messed up, right? This is just an example, y'all. Because the perception of my environment is messed up, the perspective of my environment, their perspective, my viewpoint would be, I don't know any better. I don't know any better because I come from a messed up environment, right? I don't know no better. I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know this and I don't know that because I come from a messed up environment. Like, I'm surviving. I'm in survival mode. I don't know any better. That's my perspective of my perception. You gonna tell me and sit here and tell me that there's nothing that can change about that. There's nothing you want to change about that. There's nothing that should be changed about that. The reason why every time I hear somebody say, that's my perspective of it. That's my perception. Some people even intertwine their perception with their reality. And I get it, but listen, that's not factual. But every time I hear somebody say that, I get extremely annoyed. Okay? Extremely annoyed. If perspective is a point of view and perception is basically like your point of view based off of your narrative, like you are fully in control of what is going on around you. Unless you're a baby, unless you're a small child who, was born into this era, into this environment and things of that nature, and you have no control over nothing until you get a little bit older to have the control, you have all the control. I am tired of learned behaviors becoming a thing for adults to make excuses for their behaviors and not even attempt to try to change. This is who I am. This is who I'm going to be. This is where I came from. My mama, my daddy, my uncle. This is what I saw. This is what I did. That's what I did. Yeah, you can't help what you see and what you heard and what you saw. But what was your perception? What did you perceive? What is your perspective now? That makes all the right and all the difference to change the narrative. This is where I'm going with this. This is where I'm going with perception. This is where I'm going with perspective. Like, we got to do better. We got to do better. If we have a choice to have perspective, if we have a choice to have perception, we need to take full advantage of our perception, of our perspectives, and we need to take full advantage of our perception. Hi, King. Okay. Full advantage. And we choose not to. What we choose and choose not to do is always amazing to me, and it just baffles me. You see what I'm saying? Because is in your full control. That's in your full control. And yet the things you choose to perceive and the way you choose to perceive it and the things that you choose to have perspective about and the way you have the perspective that you have about it, it baffles me. So is it like, are we just choosing to stay fucked up? Are we just choosing to, be victims? Are we just choosing to be assholes? Yeah, I'm going to call it how I see it because this is what it is. Are we choosing to, be abusive, be abused, be an emotional wreck? You don't see no other way. I always say it's lemonades in the lemon. You know what I'm saying? That's a real thing, but that comes from perspective and that comes from perception. And it's a real thing. You know, everybody use the word manifest all day long, and don't get it twisted. That's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm manifest. But manifest comes from your perspective. Manifesting comes from your perspective. Your perception and your perspective, where you are and where you want to be, who you were and who you are now. That is perception and perspective. It is one and one. Should we change our perspectives? That's basically what I was just talking about. Should we change our perspectives? Yes, we should change our perspectives. Oh God, y'all, I'm in pain. Yes, we should change our perspectives. Change your perspective. If your perspective is not helping you, I'm not even going to say positive. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody positive is different. Everybody non-positive is different as well. And that's a real thing too. So I'm not going to use the word positive and negative tonight. What I will say is that if your perspective is not helping you, if your perception is not helping you, you have the power to change it to help and to serve you. Like solely, you have that power. And I don't think people think that they have that power. And I don't think that people know that they have that power. It doesn't matter what is going on. You have the power to change your perspective and to change your perception. You literally turn that shit on and turn it back off. Like, I want to be mad at this, so I'm going to be mad at this. I don't want to be mad at that, so I'm not going to be mad at that. You have that. Change it. Change your perspective. Change your perspective. Even on a bigger scale to why you should change your perspective when it is not serving you, when it is not helping you, is because, like I continue to say, hurt people hurt people. Okay? Hurt people hurt people. And the more we have this dialect of it's okay to hurt and it's okay to hurt people, the world will never change. Nothing will never change. Okay, and it'll be more and more and more people with a positive mindset or a helpful mindset that is going to have to struggle and have a harder fight to be able to, you know, come together. That's not what we want. Like, I think that's really stupid to want to even struggle like that. Struggle emotionally all day. Like, we claim that's not what we want. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. I listen, and I hear, and I go through things, you know what I'm saying? And I have to always reflect, and I do. And, you know, I do the work and all of that kind of stuff mentally and, you know, all of those things, you know. And it's so many hurt people out here that can literally just change their situation based off of perception and perspective. The problem is a lot of people want people to help them with that, but a lot of people don't want to receive the help. At least I think that's the problem. I think that's the problem. I think, in my opinion, my little opinion over here, I think that's the problem. But in reality, no. You don't need help. You just have to change your reality. Hold on, y'all. I'm back. Yeah. So that was that, right? So let me see. What else? What else we got going on? Why is it important to change your perspective? It is important to change your perspective to gain greater insight and gain deeper happiness. Okay, well, I ain't even going to that. I ain't even talk about that. Okay, but yes, like, why would you not want to be happy? Like, being positive and enjoying life and things of that nature and changing your perspective will make you happy. It will genuinely make you a happier person. Things are going your way. You know, the kids are good, the man is good, the girl's good, the whoever's good, everybody's good. Like, why would you not want to be happy? You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's so frustrating when it comes to perspective and perception, because it's like people just don't want to be happy. People don't want to be happy. And when you put that at your forefront, that you want to be happy, and by any means you're going to be happy, yo, I'm serious though. Like, I'm so serious. You have to have something, right? You have to have something that is, what is it called? What is it called? You have to have something that is like your brand. Okay, your brand. Okay, your brand is happy. That's your brand, happy. Everything you do, you're branded happy. So anything that comes underneath that has to surround that. Okay, you are a brand. You are happy. Your aura is happy. This is who you are. Anything that surrounds that, anything that is a replica, anything you come into contact with has to align with happy. That is aligning with happy, do, and that is perception and perspective. Why are we so unhappy? Why? We're blaming the world for our feelings when we have the power to change them. We don't have the power to when it changes, but we have the power to change them. Like, if that makes sense to y'all, you know what I'm saying? Like, so when it happen, people, places, and things happen, and it steers your mood because, you know, we social shock, like, oh my god, like, I can't believe this happened to me. I wasn't expecting it. We're gonna be shocked. But then why are we choosing not to bring it back? Why are we choosing not to bring it back? Like, what do that? That's the part like, that's the part that will never understand. I'm choosing not to bring it back. Like, we just want to be all up in our feelings all day long. We want to feel bad. We want to feel messed up. We want to not be happy. We want to engage in the bullshit. We want to feel worse than what we're already feeling. Like, what are we going to do? Because the worst thing that can happen is that you feel like shit all day long, and you want to feel all day long, and you just constantly feel like shit all day long. But there's nothing you can do about feeling like shit all day long. Like, you want to rip the whole world apart and everybody that you come into contact with. But you can't do that because then you're going to go to jail. You can't do that because so many other things are going to happen. So now you're choosing to feel like shit and you're stuck in shit. It's not adding up. It's not adding up. It's not adding up. And it ain't cute. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the aura that you're putting onto someone else. And anybody that comes into contact with you. If people don't know how to shake other people's energy off, like, you're pouring this energy onto people, like, why are you doing that? It is your responsibility to shaping up. Shaping up. Fix it. Get out your feels. Let's go. What affects a person's perspective? Influences, Perception. Influences on perception. Okay. Past experiences, education, values, cultures, preconceived notions, and prejudice. So I want to just go in real quick on the education part. When I say education, obviously I don't mean school because I'm a teacher. However, I do consider myself a substance, and I am always willing to learn, which means that I am always teaching. Whether it be consciously or consciously, this is what I do. I speak. Okay. In pertaining to that, I find it, very interesting that when you have less knowledge, you don't know what you are capable of. When you lack knowledge, you don't know what you're capable of. Okay, this is another reason why I do what I do. And this is another reason why I am on here each and every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because we need to understand exactly what we're capable of. We don't know. We do not know. We were not taught. We do not know. You know what I'm saying? And if you are not intentionally always in tune with yourself, you will never know. And that will go into even when people teach you something, you won't know. So education is big. Be big on educating yourself. Be big on learning. Be big on wanting to teach. Okay? Believe it or not, articulating, teaching, speaking, and all of those things aid to your education. Now, how does that work, right? It'd be like, oh, if you once you learn something, that's how you're able to speak. It's not the other way around. You're able to speak and then you're learning something. But what happens is you're able to speak, you're also regurgitating exactly what you're saying. You're also putting it back in, which opens up a different realm of teaching. Only people who understand what I'm saying. But it is a real thing. Okay, it is a real thing. And lack of will have you in a space where you don't know what to do with yourself. This is yourself. This is yourself. You were put here to learn yourself, to understand yourself, because you have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of every part of yourself. And yes, we are taught how to take care of ourselves, but we should not. We don't need to be taught that. We just thought we needed to be taught that. We needed to be taught that by our parents because that's who, had us and things of that nature. Truly, we was going to learn. We had to. Education is everything. Influences definitely affects a person's perspective. Okay. That's something that I spoke about earlier. You know what I'm saying? Being mindful of who influences you, being mindful of who you influence, but definitely being mindful of who influences you, who is projecting on you, who is influential. Being mindful. And how do you know if it's helping you or not? Because everybody's an influencer. Everybody can influence you. Anybody can influence you. But you know what helps you. You know what makes you feel good. Okay. And at the end of the duel, we're trying to feel good. Okay. Yes, Miss Paris, XOS Paris is joining the building. My daughter. Right. So you know what makes you feel good. You know what helps you and things of that nature. So that's where you go. Ah. No, you're not. Okay. Things of that nature. Cultures. Yes. Cultures give you perspective, different cultures. And it doesn't have to be bad perspective. Cultures are definitely influential. So that's a given that's going to affect a person's perspective, right? preconceived notions. So like I said, I was not going to do Drop the Mic live mic today, right? Because I had surgery and things of that nature, and I thought I was going to be like this, and I thought I was going to be like that, and I made up all these things in my head as to why I should not do Drop the Mic live mic tonight, due to me having something, not based off of how I felt, due to me with a preconceived notion. This should be like this because of this and this and that, not necessarily what I'm capable of doing. So be mindful of preconceived notions, okay? That can either come from yourself or people. And it's even scarier when it comes from yourself, because, you know, you're actually believing yourself. No. Preconceived notions. Be mindful of that. I just want you to remember that your present circumstance is not where you will be. What's going on right now is not necessarily where you will be later on down the line. That's what I want you to understand. Okay? You have the power and the authenticity to change your whole life, your whole narrative, your whole perspective. I'm not talking about only being rich and wealthy. I'm talking about just your peace of mind, your circle, your divine energy, your spirituality, your inside to out, your outside to in, you know, like all of that. Like, you have the power to do that. Your present circumstance will not define where you will be later on down the line. So don't let it affect your perspective. Perspective is just what that is. It is just a point of view. It has no more or no less strength in anything that it is that you do. So use it for the greater good. Don't use it for the bad. We're not making sense when we continuously use perception and perspective in the negative. We're not making sense. We are not making sense. We are in a negative in a bank. We are in the negative. It's not adding up. Yet we want so much more. I find that hard to believe that we want to move forward. Yet we are always moving backwards. And I know it's tough because we are just ordinary people and we don't know which way to go. But it is definitely something that's in our power and in our control. And it's not something that is hard. It's just something that needs to be consistent. And what I do understand about life is that consistency is difficult. As much as we think it's not, it's very difficult. Okay, so I hope you guys learned something tonight from Drop the Mic Live Mic, and I hope you go and catch the replay. If you did not see it tonight, go to my YouTube page, subscribe. Don't be writing no weirdo stuff on my YouTube page either, because I'll be seeing y'all. All right. Click the link in my bio. I'm Shannon_E is my name on YouTube. All right. I need you guys to go there tonight, catch my replay, and share this live perspective and perception. Gotta go.